when I'm getting to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistix, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Revenova, the official TMS provider for the Freight Coach. You guys, I've been a broker for a long time, and the tools that are at your disposal with Revenova help you eliminate bouncing between systems, which improves your accuracy when you are managing multiple tasks throughout your workday. Plus, it's built into the Salesforce cloud, so your CRM is fully integrated with your TMS, eliminating yet another silo. In today's day and age, you are definitely concerned about the safety of your data. With Revenova, it's fully protected. They have cutting-edge security that keeps your information safe so you can focus on what matters most, and that's growing your business. Speaking of growing your business, with Rate and Lane IQ, you get real-time pricing and route recommendations, helping you optimize costs and improve operational efficiencies, which ultimately helps you make smarter decisions. If you are like me and have recurring shipments from non-EDI customers, they have intuitive cloning features that let you easily replicate previous shipments, saving both shipper and carrier rates with just a few taps. If you are ready to learn more, visit www.revenova.com to request a demo. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do and who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I got a very special guest for you guys here today. I'm going to bring him up in just a minute. I do got to remind you guys, our weekly newsletter, it drops tomorrow, but I need you to go to thefreightcoach.com. I hate when people auto sign me up for anything. So I don't do that to each and every one of you. So if you want to get in on it, go to thefreightcoach.com, register for it. It just drops once a week. All right. I'm not bombarding anybody with anything. We list out fuel prices. We're going to be maybe doing some very interesting market analysis work in there as well to help you guys kind of maybe find out what's actually going on and how to win freight. And then, yeah, we just keep people up to date on that. But I need you to go to thefreightcoach.com to register for that. But today's guest, you guys, let's jump in. I'm very excited to bring him on. He's been on the show in the past, but he plays in both fields. He owns trucks and he owns a brokerage. And what we're going to be talking about today is something that he goes through on a daily basis. And, you know, he actually moves freight. So I got my friend Alex with Alliance Logistics back on the show. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to join me this morning.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me on the show. It's always a blast.
No, man, it's been, as soon as you and I met last year or the last DATCon in Kansas City, it was like, yeah, dude, we just connected on a fundamental level, right? And there is just, I always love talking to the individuals who have that real skin in the game, right? Like they're out there, they're doing it, they're building, they're not like so far removed from the day to day that they just, you know, they're like, they have their typical corporate talking sheets that's out there. These are, everything we're going to discuss today are real decisions that you make inside of your company every single day.
Yes. That's the plan. Let's hop into it.
Dude, let's jump in. So, let's talk about building up that kind of that hybrid model that's out there in freight, right? Because I go through LinkedIn and social media every single day, just like everybody, and it is just automate, automate, automate. You need this, you need this, you need this. And I'm scrolling through and I'm like, that's $5,000 a month. That's $7,000 a month. And I'm like, you better be making 250, 300K a month in margin to even entertain some of this stuff. So how do you really approach that, balancing that, hey, let's automate, but like, let's also not lose that human touch?
Right. So when we look at things like that, we look at like, what are we doing that's super monotonous that nobody likes to do? Like, one of the things that we did recently, we pushed an initiative, and some of the tech guys do this already. Carriers invoicing. We have a ton of repeat carriers. They have to make their little invoices and send them to us. So we created a process that creates the invoices for them. If they agree to it, they just send it right back to us. They don't have to worry about it. It puts all their paperwork in there, gets everything ready for them, rate cons, things like that. And it works for carriers who use factoring company as well. They don't have to collect all their paperwork, get their documents all together. They use something like Trucker Tools or a platform like that to send us the BOLs, and we do that for them. Like, these are things that waste time, for lack of better words. So we look at like, what is wasting time, and let's take that from the equation. And then instead of just trimming workforce, what we'll do is we'll put people on the phone with people again. We'll push and push and push on that personal aspect of things. We want to have conversations with carriers. We don't want all the correspondence to be over email. We don't want AI bots booking our loads. We want our people having real conversations with real people. So we automate the sucky stuff and then push on the personalization.
What is your opinion on AI dialers in regards to a broker? And I'm asking you that because, like, obviously you own trucks, right? You're out there and you're running a fleet, and I only see kind of that one side of it where it seemingly there's a lot of resistance from the driver community about talking to a bot to book a load. So what is your honest opinion on that?
I think if you're doing that as a brokerage, you're missing out on the single biggest advantage that brokers have, and that's relationships. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. I've been through hard cycles. I've been through easy cycles. The one thing that stayed consistent over everything was the relationships. It's funny. When I started in the industry, I was working for my mom, and she always put the customer first, and I don't disagree. But I used to butt heads with her and argue with her about how we treated carriers and taking care of the carriers. And she used to get so mad at me because I was like, yeah, we need to do this for the carriers. And she used to tell me, the customer comes first. And I said, well, yeah, but we're the intermediary. The carriers are just as much our customer as our customer is our customer. We need both. We can't just forget about one. And I think with the AI dialers, especially the voice ones, I think you're losing that. And that is like the root and the heart of what a brokerage does. And if you don't foster and build those relationships, then you're just waiting to be out of the game.
Do you think there's too much AI or tech in general that only it's too singular of a focus, right? Like it's like, because like that's kind of how I look at it, where, me personally, I want to automate as much as I can, but up until a point, right? I never want a customer to call into us or a carrier to call into us and talk to a bot. I want a real person to pick up the phone. I have been told numerous times on how wrong I am on that. But unlike some people, like, I put my money where my mouth is. Like, I will bet the farm, like I already have, on my future about me being right, because I feel like I just look at it like this, Alex. Eventually, there's going to be a pushback on technology. Like, and in this sense of like, dude, I just want to talk to a real person. So I feel like there's like you were describing earlier, and I think we're aligned on that, like those menial tasks behind the scenes, like, let's automate that, right? Like, let's find stuff to automate to make it easier for our carriers to work with us or
Yep.
our customers to work with us.
Right. I think that there is a place and a time for things. So let's just use the example of posting calls. If you post a load and it's a hot lane and you've got 10, 15 reps out there answering the phones, but you've got 100 calls coming in, you obviously can't get to them. The right carrier for that load that you actually want to talk to may have gotten a busy signal. You may not have answered that phone. For that reason, I feel like there is a small place for some kind of AI there, but only as like a mild gatekeeping, and it needs to be very, very specific. Like a carrier calls in and they just simply answer, "Hey, this is Alliance. Are you calling about a posted load?" And they say, "Yeah, I'm calling about this load." It gives them the dates and times. And then if the dates and times work for them, they should go immediately to a real person. Like that's it. Like just the initial gatekeeping and make sure that no phone call gets missed. That's as far as I would take it, to be completely honest. I don't see a reason to go further than that. You're losing that opportunity to develop a relationship.
I look at it where, it's like from my seat, and this can be some free game for any of the carrier compliance softwares that are out there right now. I think the next iteration would be to do that. Like if you're going to have a facing AI, fielding inbound calls, have the vetting process stop at your setup and active, boom, then have it go through to a rep, or it goes into the priority queue. But,
Right.
Dan, my counter to that always is my people better be reaching out to our core carrier network first before we even post out a load, right? So it's like, I see where there's a place where you can kind of piece that in there. And that's one thing that we do, right? Like we won 3 loads this morning, because again, you guys, I actually move freight. Dude, we went to our core carrier network first. Hey, are you going to be in this area tomorrow at this time? We want to go there first and farm those out, because like, I don't want to go to a load board. I don't want that to be my knee-jerk reaction. I want to work with the people, because we're coming up on a time here, man, where it's like, dude, a lot of carriers, like freight is not exactly improving from a volumes perspective, right? I want to keep my carriers that I work with and have worked with in the past couple of years, that are familiar with my customers, that take care of my customers. I want to reward them with every opportunity to give them the first right of refusal.
Right. I think that you're hitting on a core piece of what a brokerage needs to do. It's like at our core, since day one, build strong relationships with our carriers, take care of our customers at all costs, build strong relationships with our carriers. They need to be taken care of just as well as our customers. Mm-hmm. Without that, that's one of the pieces that I say, if you're in brokerage, that's a fundamental piece, taking care of both sides of the equation.
So from your perspective, what is a fundamental piece of technology that people need, right? Like, and obviously, like to me, my core products, as a broker, you have your TMS, you have your load boards, and then CRM. Those are like the core products. And I walk back, I ate crow on the CRM. We missed out on a lot of opportunity. I am all about the CRM that we use.
Core, obviously TMS, load boards. If your TMS does it, great. If not, the financial aspect of things. I think one of the biggest ways to really screw up as a broker is to screw up your payments to carriers. Yeah. Making sure your finances are flawless in their payments. They're never delayed. They're never missed. That's a fundamental piece, is how you handle paying carriers. Whether it's built in or you bolt it on by a third party, it has to be handled in the most efficient and accurate way possible. The second thing would be, it's going to depend on what you do. So if you are a high volume, low margin, short haul regional place, you need to have tools that complement that. You need tools that are turn them and burn them, get the loads done with as little touches as possible and as much as efficiently as possible. If you are, you handle more long haul business, you do more specialty stuff, you need tools that help you document and provide that top tier customer service. Like you are touching that load multiple times throughout its hourly scope, and versus a high turn customer, you're barely touching it. You just need the system to do most things for you. So you have to kind of look at what you really need. Do you need something that does everything for you just because you have to manage those relationships? Or do you need something that allows you to do everything so that you have your finger on everything for the customer? Those are two big things. Other than that, like it's transportation is so niche. Like you just there is nothing out there that helps or fixes everybody's technology problems. Period. And I don't know that there ever will be, because it would be so bloated. It wouldn't work. So yeah, that's a tough one. I think it's very dependent on what your model is and what you're after and what you're focusing on. But the payments piece and the TMS that's teetered to top tier customer service versus volume is where you need to pay attention to.
What would you recommend for a fleet out there from that, 5, 10 truck operation that are, they're trying to build out an infrastructure, but they don't know where to start?
From a tech spot or just from the basic fleet?
From a tech spot.
Tech spot. You want to have as much clean and automated for you as possible. I think that 5 to 10 mark is a really good point to talk about, because I think a lot of those carriers are still working off of something like Excel. They're tracking drivers' pay through Excel. They're doing payroll through who knows how. Like it is not efficient. And when we look at fleets, and we're looking at ours currently, I know some fleets have this magic number. They want one dispatcher for every, let's call it 15 drivers, right? Fleet manager or driver manager. When we look at it, we're trying to get to the point where the monotonous tasks are eliminated to the point that one driver manager could manage 40 trucks. And that includes dealing with paperwork collection, payments, everything. So that we're trying to eliminate all of this, of the noise, and then just focus on having one person take care of the drivers, and then leveraging technology for that. Is there a technology out there? I haven't even looked yet. But some of the tools that bolt on, you need a good ELD provider for tracking and tracing, and you need some way to handle dispatching the drivers in a really efficient way, and then collecting documents from them. If you can achieve those three from a technology standpoint, you're doing really good. It's easy to bolt on the payroll and things like that after the fact.
What are some questions you would advise? This is, broker or carrier out there that is trying to build out a tech stack that maybe you realize after the fact wasn't true, and you now know moving forward when I'm interviewing potential tech vendors, these are the questions that I ask to ensure that the product is what they say it is?
That's an interesting question. I think aside from like taking advantage of salespeople's times and demoing their product to the brutal details that you need, you can't answer those questions because you don't know what you don't know about their technology. Yeah. So being almost taking advantage of them and their time and reviewing the hell out of it. However, the bigger question to answer is, do I need this, or is this something I want? Like, how specifically is this going to make me do better in my business? How am I going to grow because of this one piece of technology? And when you're sitting there weighing out technology, you're maybe weighing 5 or 6 pieces at a time. You have to look and select which one of those pieces are the ones that you want to implement, because they're going to have the biggest impact on your growth trajectory. I think a lot of people get burnt by tech because they don't need what they're buying, and they needed a different product. It wasn't that there was something wrong with the person's product. It was just not what they actually needed. I think that's more important, is knowing what you need rather than what they have to offer.
How important is it to take stock of what your customers are requesting of you? Because I look at it is there is a lot of technology out there that is great, but it actually makes it harder to work with. Like, as a broker, if you were to go out there and tell your customers like, hey, we have X, Y, and Z, they're going to look at you like, we don't need that. Like, you're actually making more work for us.
Right. It's funny. I have this conversation with some customers often. There's a lot of customers still on EDI, and I always ridicule them and critique them to move to API because it's just a cleaner handling. But it's funny because all these customers, a lot of them are driving tech just like brokerages are, but they're so hesitant to change this one piece. It's like they want tech, but they're not willing to completely dive into it. It's an interesting phenomenon as far as customers and tech go. But for that what tech would we be using that customers don't necessarily need? That's a tough one because I think if you're building tech out, you're building it to solve their problems in the end. But yeah, your comment about making it harder for them, that's hard to know customer specific. Um, Automated booking or automated bidding is probably not the greatest thing to have. Unless you're really disciplined with it, that probably causes a hindrance for a lot of customers. Just bulk bidding on freight without knowing, what the market actually looks like, and then getting loads that you really shouldn't have won at rates that aren't sustainable. Like that's probably the biggest thing that I could say is probably a turnoff from customers is how disciplined are you in people's spot markets with automating that process? That'd be a big one.
So, and I'm asking you this, in particular, because like you move high volume freight, right? Like
Right.
you are out there doing a lot of that. And have you ever had a customer, it might not be about you guys, but like bring up the fact that like, hey, we're like these auto bids that we're getting on some of this freight, like they're ridiculously low and it puts us in a bad spot.
Yeah, I have had that comment several times. Usually the people who are doing that own the mistakes, so it's not a huge problem for a customer, but the customers are realizing that they may be causing some problems here. Some of it I have heard about carriers doing that and then giving back like huge amounts of freight because it was just all bad. Like it went haywire and it turned into a terrible disaster that was going to cost a lot of money. And yeah, they went back to them and said, yeah, we can't do all of these. I have heard stories of that. Yeah.
Mhm. Do you think that is going to be the thing? I think that automated bidding is a very great tool as long as you work with the tool to ensure that there are certain parameters that it like follows, right? Because like that's one, like I use AI and like I'm a Gemini fiend at this point, right? Like I use Google Gemini all the time on a lot of tasks because like, dude, it is it's actually my VA now, right? Like it's integrated into my calendar. And I'll be like, hey, set this appointment, send it to this person. And dude, it's amazing what's out there. Now, granted, I use G Suites for my companies. So there's a elevated, it's not the free version that's in there with it. But I look at it as like, dude, I work with that. I have to tell that thing all the time. Hey, I don't like the way you're doing this. Do it this way. I have to work with it. And I'm afraid that I'm kind of coming up with the fact that like, I think a lot of people buy stuff off the shelf and then integrate it and they don't work with it. They don't understand that like, hey, you got to really, really work with these, the rules and everything that come along with a lot of this technology, because otherwise it's going to do what it does. And that's going to put you in a potential bind.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to the idea of knowing exactly what you need versus what something has to offer. It's a simple concept, but it's really hard to actually deploy. You have to pay a lot of attention, you have to like be abusive with your demos. You have to know exactly what they're offering. And you will get the right piece of tech and it will fit your stack and it will fit perfectly. But buying off the shelf stuff is great. You're the one. When something doesn't meet your standards and it's an off the shelf thing, it is not that tech provider's fault. It is your fault. Like, period. It is what it is. Like, that's your fault for choosing that tech because it didn't fit your model and what you exactly needed. From the AI perspective, I'm a huge user of AI as well. And from the AI perspective, I feel like the biggest thing that we could do with AI is have it be a new set of tools for users instead of a replacement for users.
Oh yeah.
Most of these tech companies are pushing to replace users. That's not a great idea, I don't think.
I agree, man. I use it as somebody who bootstraps his businesses up. I gotta make $2. I gotta stretch $1 of profit into $2 of profit, right? And I gotta make that work as we're building. And dude, for me, it's like it's amazing what additional information it can uncover at a rapid pace for you, as long as you're asking it the right questions. And like I use it as like a pseudo CFO for my company. I upload my financials and say, look at my expenses, look at everything. How do I improve? Be aggressive. And dude, it's wild what it will pop out for you. And that's why it's like, I want to see some of the smaller businesses that are out there, like start using some of this stuff, right? Start small, step by step, but like, dude, you can uncover cost savings that you don't know. Cause how many times have you signed up for something, Alex, on a subscription basis that you forgot about because it was $40 a month?
Yep. Netflix is a prime example. Everybody pays for Netflix, yet it's included with 90% of the phone plans.
Yeah.
Like we're all doing it. It's crazy. Yeah, the AI perspective, there is a lot of uses that we can get. We have the Microsoft suite. I pay for Copilot. And I'll make notes, random notes over the years, and I'll write emails and I'll make Excel sheets and I'll do these things, and I'll like have this vague remembrance of what I did, and rather than spending 45 minutes finding a document, I'll go into Copilot and be like, hey, tell me about this we did like 2 years ago. And yeah, it's amazing what it finds in your own documents and refreshes your memory on things like that. It's interesting. It's like a partner. You use it like a partner. You don't use it like a replacement.
No, I agree, right? Like, dude, I'm all in on it. But again, just like when I'm all in with technology and automation, but there is a threshold of how far I will allow it to go inside of my business. Because, dude, I just think that there's so much stuff that's at our disposal now to help us run cleaner businesses. Because like when, tax season's coming up here, I know a lot of people don't, there's a lot of debate on, do we even pay taxes this year or not? But it's one of those situations where it's like, you're coming up on tax season. Are you prepared for it? Right? Like, how many times can you go in there and like, let's talk with equipment, right? You're out there, you're buying trucks and trailers and stuff like that. How many times have you, like, again, like as a use case, you can use AI. Hey, my truck, I owe this. The appraisal value is this. How do I stretch this out to lower my tax bill from if I sell it for, a profit, right?
Right. You could do that. And I think the bigger, this is kind of crazy. The bigger thing is using AI to manage, like, when you bought equipment, the VIN numbers, the license plate numbers, dude, keeping that organized is a nightmare. Especially when you're growing fast or liquidating equipment fast, when you're trading equipment. It's equipment is cheap right now. So like buying an older used truck, a lot of times it's kind of crazy. There's this phenomenon where if you have like a 2015 Freightliner and the engine blows, you're better off just selling that Freightliner for parts and buying another one because it's cheaper that way. And you get into that pattern of not fixing the equipment and just replacing it. You start changing VIN numbers and registrations. It is obnoxious to keep track of. And that's kind of a pain point of a smaller fleet. When you have 200-300 trucks, there's systems and processes in place. But when you're that 5 to 10 mark, that becomes hard, especially when it's a one person is running the entire show and has 10 drivers and 10 trucks and who knows how many trailers. Like, yeah, AI can definitely help like organize that. If you wrote it in an email, send the AI to find it. Like, it's a good tool.
And dude, and that's the thing. Like, I want more people to kind of come away and like ask the right questions, because you might already be paying for stuff that you're not even aware of, right? Like, how many people, like with the phone plan in Netflix, for example,
Yes.
How many people have that included, yet they still pay for Netflix and everything else? And, again, so it's like, as you're looking at your tools, whether you're a Microsoft guy or a Google guy or something like that, there's going to be an AI tool included in that. If I know, like, it sounds like you pay for it with Microsoft Copilot. I know it's included in my G Suites account, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I get an elevated AI tool that's out there, and dude, it's like you can use it, and then you can create Google documents from it. Hey, take this data, create a Google document, and then send it to this person for me. It's wild what you can do. And it only, like, you guys, I went to public school, right? Like, I went to a state school in college and everything. Like, if I can figure this out, each and every one of you who are watching this and listening to this can figure it out. And a great book I would highly recommend. I'm just finishing up right now. It is called The AI Driven Leader. Buy that book, download that book on Audible, listen to that. It plays out very practical step-by-step guides for you to go in. Because again, how do we become operationally sound? All I hear all the time, trucking's tough. It's a low margin business. It's this and that. It's so hard to make money. Well, first and foremost, you got to start internally. Where are you spending your money? How can you save that? How can you reallocate it? And what automation can you implement into your business to save that, right? Like, an extra $3,000-$4,000 a year to a lot of small businesses, dude, that's a safety net right there.
Yeah, it is for the trucking side. That's a set of tires when you need it. Like,
Yeah,
that's the difference between keeping a truck on the road or not for a lot of carriers right now. It's tough in the asset game. Margins are non-existent. I mean, even the big boys, you look at their earnings, it's not good. It's not a pretty sight right now. So yeah, if you're a small asset, specifically that $3,000 to $4,000 is the difference between you surviving or not. It helps. It really does. Everything helps. Yeah.
I was gonna say, with that being said, as we're kind of wrapping up here, Alex, what is one cost saving piece of advice as a fleet owner in a depressed margin environment that you would advise people like, hey guys, this is where we found inefficiencies in our operation. Start here.
Fuel and maintenance. It seems like common sense. Spend more time understanding what you're spending on fuel, how you can get it cheaper, and spend a hell of a lot more time finding out how you can save on maintenance and repairs. If that means, like, if you have 5 to 10 trucks and you normally take all of your trucks to one shop, split it. Start shopping out a truck here to that shop, a truck here to that shop. You have to find the way to get your maintenance done more efficiently, faster, and cheaper. And then the last piece would be insurance. Shop your insurance around. I'm all about loyalty and I'm all about relationships, but these things are the differences between a successful asset and an unsuccessful asset. And it's just, you go back to your core people who you want to partner with and you tell them, hey, this is where I need to be, but at least you have options. Otherwise, you're just overspending.
I think most people's loyalty has to lie with their entity that's in their name. I'm right there with you, man. I'm loyal to a fault.
Yep.
But my loyalty only goes so far, and I have to stay in business. Otherwise, my loyalty to that person is going to be non-existent if I can't keep my lights on out there. But Alex, I appreciate your time, man. Dude, this was great. I'm going to have you back on again really soon, because like these tactical conversations, this is what I love talking about more than anything, because like the market's the market at the end of the day, right? Like we got to find a way to operate in it. And that comes with, how do we implement some of these strategies behind the scenes? But dude, if you're hiring anything like that, how does anybody reach out to you to find out more about what you got going on?
Email me, Schick@alliancelogistix.com. They could call the office as well, 559-899-3177. Somebody will pick up. We're always here. Yeah, reach out, please.
Perfect. Alex, I appreciate it. If you guys can find Alex out there at all or his company, hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in direct contact with them. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling ambitious, rank it on iTunes and Spotify, because that's how we get out there even further. And if you saw value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.
Came back with a bang.